live in the same city, which we're not going to tell you. Crag Locciero from Dress the Dead, formerly Forbidden. Hello, Craig. How are you?
Hi, Ted. I'm doing really, really good, man.
Wow. I got you. Finally, you're on the show, bro.
And it's a beautiful sunshiny day in the city that we're not allowed to mention.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want people to be stalking and all that. How are you doing, man? How are you?
That's Christmas stalking, right?
Yeah.
So it's around the holidays. Like
totally.
Going down your chimney and shit. I'm doing really good, dude. I got to say, I've used my time pretty wisely for the whole COVID times and the weirdness, and I mean, the band has, and we've gotten a lot of shit done. So I would say out of a scale of 1 to 10, I'm at least a 8.9 for not being able to tour.
Yeah, 8.9 is good. I mean, it's a sucky year, but we won't get into it because I want to get into some music here.
Let's do that.
Everyone who's probably watching and knows who you are, knows your history with Forbidden, and I'll touch upon that later, but I want to touch upon your new band, Dress the Dead. And we played together. I think your first shows we did the Christmas shows together. You did our Christmas shows, right? If I can remember.
We did. Well, Dress the Dead started as an answer to the ending of Spiral Arms for me, where I didn't really have a band. I just had a name popped in my head, and I started writing music, and I was trying to figure out who was going to play with me. And so, for the first few months of the band's existence, we didn't, really exist until I got the guys. But Peter Dolving was the first person I thought of, right?
From The Haunted, right? He was in The Haunted.
From The Haunted, yeah. Peter was a friend of mine, and he was an artist. Is a friend, is an artist that I dearly appreciate and respect and admire. And I was dying to have that kind of artistry, something to add to my riffs. So somebody that's just going to throw it all out there. So with that, he finally arrived right before the shows we did with you guys. And we'd been working on music, sending it back and forth. When I got the band, I got James, who was with me, James Walker from Man Made God, and Mark Hernandez, who was with me in Forbidden, wrote Omega Wave, he wrote that whole album with me. We'd sit in that room and write it together, And then we got Dan DeLay, and we had who was great and atmospheric. So it was such an experimental band. We played that show with you. And that was our first time on stage together. We'd only had 2 rehearsals with him at the time. And he got a concussion the first night, right before the gig.
That's right.
Nobody knew, but Jimmy accidentally hit him with a headstock when he was coming down. They were like, boop. And then he walked out on stage, and it's like, after the show, he's like, I'm pretty sure I got a concussion. So it's like, holy shit. So yeah, that was our first show. We did the Christmas sweater show with you guys.
Yep. You had ugly Christmas sweaters. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, mine was Santa getting a anal probe from an alien, which was just, you can't fucking beat that, right? I mean, fuck, I win. So
you win,
but it was great. Actually, everyone had a great one. But that was the beginning of us, and it all happened so fast.
Yeah.
And
then, I saw that show, and I saw your set both nights. I thought Peter was cool. He did his thing. I would, with Peter from The Haunted and Forbidden, I was curious, and I thought you guys put on a good show both nights, actually.
Yeah, the second night was a little better for us playing wise, I think, because he knew he had the concussion, so he was but he had to grab a stool and lean back on it so he didn't spin out and fall over. But that's the past, and I will say that before we, Peter came to a point, and we'll fast forward through this whole thing. He just came to a point where he realized he just couldn't do this kind of music thing and be living in Europe and go back and forth. And because he was living in Copenhagen. He's a Swedish guy, who spent a lot of time in America, went to college out here, had some family out here. So he was partially sort of an American Swede. But it became too much, and it was just, he didn't let us know a normal way. We found out on Facebook that he's done with music, and it wasn't because of us. It was because of his life. I respect the hell out of the fact that he admitted it was just too much and overwhelming for him. But at the time, we're like, dude, we really have to find this out on Facebook. In the moment, we're like, it was. I found, Rob Flynn, actually, who produced all our stuff, texted me, he's all, did Peter Dolving just quit on Facebook, bro? I'm like, what? So it was it was a bit of shock,
Yeah.
But fast forward, a few months later, it took months, we were trying people out, dude. So there's a whole period of time where we're bummed and we're writing great music and we don't know who's going to sing it. And we tried some folks out, mostly through submissions, tape, tape, no one does tape, but like recorded submissions.
Tape is our word. So we use tape.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it's records. Now records are back. That's cool. But we looked at some people and it's funny. The guys in the band would always ask me, well, can I hear some of these? And I'm like, you don't want to hear them. Not because they were bad, just because they weren't right. And I was like, just don't put yourself through what I just went through. Because I'm imagining, because I had a really good idea. Because I was, I knew how, once you have Peter, which is, I don't care what anyone says, as an artist, he's like way up here. You can't even see how high that guy can get. And we witnessed it in the studio with him. So, when he was pouring his guts into it, it's like something you sit back and wonder, like, how are we ever going to find anything like this again? How are we going to find someone that can relate to people on this great, ethereal level? So, we tried out some folks and there were some that were really good. There was one that was really good. And he just wasn't right for the band. It was like, it was perfect for like what he does. It just, we were having to make it kind of, even he said during the process, he's, oh man, I'm gonna have to really work on this and that and the other. And I'm thinking, fuck, he shouldn't have to, And then I got a text from Kayla, and I didn't know Kayla only from seeing her once live. With the year before with St. Vitus and the Skull, I saw Witch Mountain open up. And I remember walking in the venue and having people run up to me going, dude, you got to see this band on stage. This chick is blowing people's fucking minds. And I'm like, what? So I went in, walked in, just kind of looked at the stage, looked at her, and she's like staring people down, dude. She's like one by one, she's like staring them down, looking at them like, wow, I was like, wow, she's something. I took a drink of my water, said, she's cool. She's going to be a star one day. Didn't think anything of it. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, she's going to do great. And a year later, I got a text from her almost to the day. It would have been 2 days after the text was the actual year that I saw her. Yeah. And it basically said, I was told about you guys. I really like what you do. She was a fan of Dolving. She's all, is there any chance I can have a audition? And I'm like, yeah, So that when she called me, we talked for a few minutes. I immediately realized that she was measured in her words and intelligent, and I knew she could sing. So I sent her music, and 2 days later, she sent stuff back, and she just knocked all the Peter stuff out of the park with that emotion. I'm like, how does anyone even? And with more range, obviously. And so a few days later, after that, she came out and tried out, and she flew out, and I think after the first verse, everyone looked at each other in the room, and we're like, we knew, right? Wow, that was the best we ever sounded, the best we ever played, and it's been like that ever since. Just a lot of bumps in the industry along the way,
Yeah.
But Ted, I just got to say, what people got to understand more than anything is, for me personally, I'm a little bit gun shy about making deals and doing things quickly after what happened with Peter. And in this business, I've had a lot of record deals. I've had a lot of fucking things that have come up and maybe too quick sometimes. So there was a little bit of let's take our time this time. Let's not do this overnight. And I'm glad that happened.
Wow,
it made us grow a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, you live and learn. I mean, come on, man. You put out so many records, the Forbidden Records, the Man Made God records with Rick Rubin, American. Spiral Arms, was that with what was that? That wasn't with Mascot, right? Spiral.
Alcatraz. Well, no, not Mascot. Shit, I'm trying to remember what label it was. It was
Mausoleum.
Might have been Mausoleum. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was Belgium. It was our friends in Belgium that had wanted to pick us up and put us out there.
Gotcha.
I should get that record just to get that right, but but that's, yeah. I mean, I've had a lot of record deals, and Demonica too, and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, but now that you have, is it Kayla or Kyla? I gotta get this right, man. Kayla. Kayla.
Yeah.
Did you, when she came into the band, of course, you had quite a few songs she sang, Peter, some of the stuff Peter did, but when it came to writing, did you have to adjust, or did it open up a bunch of doors for you to go, we could go in so many places?
Well, immediately, I think all of us and the guys in the band all went to that spot, because that's what this band was started as. And we didn't really get into it, but when Spiral Arms did end, I said to myself, why don't you just do whatever the fuck you wanted to, because you've wanted to do that for so long. There's nobody to tell you not to. So I wanted to take all my thrash influences and my rock influences and be able to just, I know I can make it work. Nobody can tell me otherwise, you know? So that's why Mark was perfect, and that's why James was perfect, and that's why Dan was perfect. At that time, they were all like, yeah, anything. So that's why I called it thrash and roll when we started. I was like, yeah, it's thrash, it's rock and roll, it's thrash and roll. You know, it may or may not stick, but that's what I called it back then. So when Kayla came aboard, to me, it was an immediate like, oh, you know, like they take the governor off the fucking, you know, the accelerator, you know, like now we can do any fucking thing. And the great thing about her is that rarely, like we're good at arranging already. Like I can arrange for vocals, you know, with the guys and have something, you know, well orchestrated and put together that just makes sense. And then she'll be like, yeah, just like that. And then she'll write something for that. And she barely gives us any direction beyond that, other than if she likes it or doesn't, you know, because she knows and she's good. And so there's a whole like trust factor because she can do something great with anything, you know. So you know, there's a learning curve too. She, you know, she is younger than us, so there was that, and that doesn't mean anything besides like there's just learning how these older seasoned dudes work. You know what I mean? Because we're all fucking, you know, made a lot of records again.
Yeah. Now, before I do want to play a song for the viewers, Tim, your manager, Tim Healy. Hello, Tim. I know he's watching. He sent me some tracks, and I think they're good songs, dude. But Knives Out is the one you guys are gonna release, and I want to play that. And before I do play that, when you guys who's the primary songwriter, or you guys write all together?
Well, I mean, the riffs usually start with me, you know, and then since Mikey's been in the band, Mikey brings in some really good riffs too. And everyone writes. And with me, if you ever look at my songwriting credits over the years, drummers are always in there, you know. But the first three songs, like Knives Out was one of them. There's three songs that I really did write sitting in this room in a lot of pain and a lot of like reflective mode. And those first three songs were written by me in here. But after that, everybody really wrote together, you know, and even on those songs, listen to what they do. You know, those guys, you know, they just write incredible parts, you know. I mean, that's why I wanted a rhythm section like that, Ted. I got John Entwistle on bass over there. You know, Mark is his own beast. You don't even know how to. He's his own syncopated monster. It's very fucking cool.
Yeah, Mark's a great drummer. I mean, Jimmy. I'm gonna call him Jimmy. I know you guys call him James.
Jimmy Jams.
James. He's a good bass player. I've seen Man May God. He can hold it down. So you do have a good rhythm section. Kyla just, man. Kyla, same tomato. You know, I got, you know, my memory here is going out. But let's play a song. I want to play a song.
No one's actually got to hear the studio version of the song. We played it live a few times, and it's gonna prepare to have your face ripped off.
I can't wait to share it. And now it's just an MP3, ladies and gentlemen out there. We don't have any visuals, so this one's called Knives Out from Dressed to Dead. Check it out.
Shut your eyes, shut your mouth.
man, that's brutal, dude. That's really good. Heavy riffs, powerful drumming. That middle section is awesome, and she is singing her ass off, dude. That's awesome, dude.
She sings with a purpose. You know, we came in. Thank you, man. And we came and did those vocals up here with Michael Rosen.
Oh
And,
shit.
Yeah. She had a couple days, and we came up and we did that, and she took complete control of that session. I barely said a word, and then even Michael was like, and she's like, no. It was really interesting because I'd never seen her take control. Because usually before I think she knows what she wants. She's a fast learner.
Yeah.
Man. She's a fast learner. So, I mean, my God, how many emotions, how many emotions are hitting that song, but the story, and that was a Peter story, that was like one of his, that's the brilliance of Peter put together with the brilliance of her interpreting it. Kind of like, I compare it to like, it's different, but like the way Elton John took Bernie, the lyrics of Bernie, and that's how she takes his lyrics and took those first three songs and really expanded on them, so
that song
I haven't heard that
great,
I haven't heard that in months, dude. I haven't heard it in months. It's the first time I listened to it. I actually got to admit I got a little bit of like a little goosebump, and like I can imagine hearing it for the first time,
dude. And plus I'm hearing it through some good ass headphones. The production's good. The song's great, man. The song is absolutely great. Now we talked earlier, you have some big Dress the Dead news you want to share.
I do, and I do want to share. This is the first time that people have been sitting around, where's the big news, dude? But the big news is a good one. We have inked our first deal, and it's with Blood Blast, which is a conglomeration of this Nuclear Blast Digitals. It's the people that put out the stuff digitally. And this was in the works now for about a year. When Gerardo from Nuclear Blast, we talked at the Slayer show last year. And he said, I think I know what I want to do with you guys. And it basically and this is like before COVID, right? Yeah. And it took a while to work this deal out because we got some things. We have a great attorney. Eric German is our attorney now. And he worked the kind of deal which is artist friendly as well as friendly for Blood Blast. But, it's a very good thing, dude. Like in today's world where any money you take back, you got to pay back, but there's no touring.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you do the math. That's going to be very difficult. So this is the perfect testing grounds. We're going to release one song a month starting in January, on January 5th. Knives Out. We'll put out a video for it. And we're going to drop the song Knives Out on January 5th. And then every month we're going to put out another song and another song and another song and another song and another song, all the way 8 songs in until we get to Europe. And we play the Dynamo Festival and some other things that I can't say. Dress the Dead's first show is going to be then, as long as everything's more opened up and we can do this thing. But we have a plan, and a full record will be out by August of next year. We have a whole nother record we're going to start recording at some point and finish that up before all that, or at least start the whole process, so we'll be able to follow it up really quickly. That's it. We're a signed act now. Dress the Dead actually has a fucking plan. And it's a better plan than throwing shit on a wall and seeing if it sticks,
Dude, that's awesome. Congratulations. And you get to venture off to play a festival, the Dynamo in Holland. That's going to be awesome. Which you guys were supposed to do this past summer, but COVID hit, right?
Yeah, COVID hit and just took the fucking wind out of everybody's sail, So I don't think, for me personally, I was like, well, we're just like everybody else, like I didn't take it too hard because I feel like everybody, it's me, that kind of livelihood. If it's taken away, if you're like a band that's like makes all your money, like Death Angel makes all your money on tour, I feel for you guys and the Machine Heads and all the other big bands out there that really got hit. And it just tripped us up, but I feel like I'm being cosmic, but I feel like everything kind of happened for a reason with us. And we were held back at times for our own best interest, where maybe we didn't realize it. And right now I feel like the time is right for us to build this thing. And, our internet presence has to get really strong in the next few months. We kept really quiet. So we kind of kept it dull for a bit. And now, coming up to the 5th, we'll go full tilt, and we're going to give you songs with videos, more content. With Kayla came out here and we recorded a bunch of shit that we're going to be able to put out over time through that period, and she'll come back and we'll do more. So we're gonna have like a constant flow of stuff, you know.
That's awesome, dude. You guys seem to know what you're doing, and you're embracing this new way of how to be a band in today's world, like technology. Because you know, you grew up and you've been through the old business model. Now it's all internet streaming and, you know, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. So I mean, you're embracing that pretty well.
Yeah, you got to. And luckily, we have a young and highly intelligent person at the helm. Or our front person is she's on top of that. You know, Kayla understands that and explains it to us. Like, you know, you got to do this, and if you don't hit so many times a day, then you know, like there's this whole list of things to keep your algorithm active. So we kind of let it die down a bit, and then we're gonna, you know, we're gonna ramp it up. But I think it got to the point where like there's only so much you could say when there's nothing going on.
Yes.
So we didn't want to overdo it. And you know, what do they say? Undersell, overproduce, or what was that? Over, but you know, in other words, let the music do the talking more.
Gotcha.
And
Dude,
finally,
dude. First, before I jump into another subject, and I want to close out on Dress to Dead because we have a few to talk about. I want to congratulate you on your signing. I'm stoked because, you know, you've been doing this a long time now. You got Dress to Dead going and you got signed. You got some stuff to look forward to. And if anybody wants to find out anything about Dress to Dead, where should they go to find out?
Well, we have the dresstodead.com, which is, luckily we bought that, you know, domain. So that one's there, and obviously Facebook is there. You know, it's like it's all there. Dress to Dead, Facebook, Dress to Dead, Instagram. Instagram's the one we gotta get everybody jumping over to Instagram and start liking us on Instagram, because that's the hardest nut for us to crack. Facebook, we got pretty good, you know. And I guess there's a Twitter account that Kayla made. I don't do Twitter. I'm not a Twitty. I don't do the Twit thing. I got Donald Trump for Twitter's. That's I have a Twitter account, and he might be like the only guy I follow. You know, just because he's fucking out of his mind. So
yeah,
but so yeah, you know, we're gonna open it up. We have to, you know, we have to. This is just, you can't. Otherwise, you're just a mushroom growing in the dark, and no one knows anything. You know.
All right, everyone out there, follow Dress to Dead. You heard Knives Out here. It's first time everyone's heard it on live and streaming. Follow Dress to Dead on Instagram. I think it's at Dress to Dead, dresstodead.com, Facebook / Dress to Dead. You know, they're gonna be doing some stuff in the new year. Now it's gonna segue into this. You guys were Dress to Dead was supposed to play Dynamo, but you had this super group that you were gonna do at Dynamo.
I know it's not a super group, but it's gonna be some super players.
Yeah,
super group entails a lot of different things. It's gonna be about at the Dynamo, not last year, but the year before that. I was approached before the Dynamo by the organizers if I would be able to do, and they left it very vague, like however you want to do it, like a tribute for Bay Area thrash-ish thing. And I said, yeah, it sounds kind of, you know, let me think about that. But they wanted me to head it because they know that I do all the work with Rob and I help organize all that. And so Rob Flynn, that is, for you people. We did some benefits and birthday parties, and you organize like 30 songs for 30 people, and it's fucking insane. It's not your usual thing at all. So they knew, and I said, yeah, let me think about that. So I took a look at who their lineup was, who was going to play, and I thought about a name. It was actually literally like within the first few minutes of them saying it. What about Bay Area Inner Thrashing, you know? And it's like, oh shit, you know, like, oh shit, because all we're doing is focusing on Bay Area thrash bands. At the top, there's really 6 that sit at the ones that sold the most records, right? That's how you got to look at it, because you only have so much time for a set anyway. Like you can't really get into like you can't. But then we were going to be the headliner, the closer last year, to close the whole thing, and Dress to Dead was going to play as well, our debut then, but that obviously COVID happened. So, you know, and last year there was going to be like Exodus was on the bill, and Sepultura. So I was like talking to guys from the bands, like, okay, you know, we're going to do this. Like, you sing this, you sing, you know, you play guitar on that. We were getting to that point. But the whole deal with this thing is nobody can play their own song. You're not allowed to
Oh,
play your own song. If you're a Bay Area guy and you're there, you can't play on your song. You got to stand on the side of the stage and watch this guy do it. So that's
wow.
the interesting part. Some people don't like to delve into other people's material, but it helps you stretch. I've been doing a lot of stretching over the last few years, so I understand how that works. So, we just stretched ourselves with the violence thing, when we did the violence thing.
That was hard.
So essentially, it's going to be a couple songs from Metallica, Exodus, Testament, Death Angel, Forbidden, Violence. That was like, it's how it's going to work. So now we're doing it next year. And and the lineup's different. I can't announce some of the bands, or some of the bands have been announced, some of the bands have not. But looking at the lineup, it's going to be just as good. And there's some people there that I wished would have been there last year that are going to be there this year. So, and if there's any way to get anyone from Death Angel there, I'm looking at your schedule. There might be a way to get you guys down there for this thing. So
right. We'll see what our routing is. You know what I mean? That it would be cool if
I
one
might
of
know
us,
more. I might know more about your routing than you do at that time.
really. No, I pretty much know my band's routing right now, with a few gaps here and there, bro.
You'll drink our coffee. You're like, yeah. So anyway, so it's going to be really fun. And, I got a guy like Harold O is a big part of it. He's designing the logo, which is amazing. Everyone's going to go nostalgia. I want the stage to kind of, and the banner and everything to kind of have like our old school Bay Area look with Harold's art. Like everything's got to look old, almost like Ruthie's Inn. I don't want it to be all slick and, but now we don't have to headline either, but we get a headlining set slot. We get the same amount of time. Now we don't have to be the closing thing, but we get a prime slot and they give us extra time to do it. And we'll have 2 drum sets on stage and all the amps and everything will be like set up. So you can just go bang, 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 bang. We're going to do it like that. And I won't be playing every song. I'll be standing on the side of the stage for quite a few, which is great. But I get it coordinated. So there you go.
There you go, man. I just hope things open up for not only that to happen, but for Dress to Dead to go out there and play. And hopefully, if our schedules line up and we happen to be in the same neighborhood on a day off or passing through, I hope one of us can get up there and jam with you and the fellas.
Yeah, that we what ultimately, dude, it's going to be a real high for everybody, I think. And like I said, as doing so many of these things where you stretch out and you learn other people's songs, I think my original plan was to also record, because Forbidden is the core band, like the 4 guys that played on Omega Wave are the core. So we're kind of the foundation of it, and we're going to get together and learn all the songs. I want to record them for everybody the way we're playing them. I really want to do everything in A440 or E440, whatever you want to call it. I want to do everything like old school with tuning that was written in, and it'll have a different sound to it, because I know most bands go out there and play a little bit lower. They either a half step or a full step. I want it to be like, getting in it. It's got to be jumping out of the speakers the old school way.
The old school way, wall of Marshalls, and just have a tube screamer in front of it and just go, huh?
Might just be half stacks, because I want it to look old school.
Well, old school is also this stack too,
Yeah, there's a stack. I'm kidding around, but I just I don't want it to make it look like it shouldn't look like it's 1989. It should look like it's 1986. You know what I mean? It needs to have that look to it.
Speaking of Forbidden, now that we're going to get into Forbidden, I'm going to pull up.
I went dark on you for a second here.
That's okay, bro.
It's my screen went off. Okay, I'm listening to you though.
Okay, but a fan submitted question from Adam Potter. I'm going to play it for you here. So check this out, Craig, my man.
I got a little brighter over there.
All right, check this out.
What's up, Wolfpack? It is once again my distinct honor and privilege to come to you today for this alive and streaming with a chalice of blood. First off, I want to give a huge shout out to my man, Ted. Yeah, I know your name, brother. Thank you for all the hard work you're doing. I know it's not easy. The fans appreciate it. We love you, brother. Wow, Forbidden, Craig, dude, amazing. I first saw you guys back in the, early 90s. The Omni, Oakland, amazing gig. I was wondering, can you tell us about the day you found out Paul got the gig with Slayer? Now that Slayer is south of heaven, are you and Paul gonna get together and make some new music? Can't wait to hear what's next, brother. Yes.
Wow.
Dude, he put a lot of effort into that video, bro.
Wow. Yeah,
You gotta give it to him.
Yes,
You
he
gotta
does.
give it
Yes,
to
he
him.
does.
Yeah.
There's a lot. How do they say? There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, the first question is. By the way, thank you for that question. Those questions, with like a multi-tier
Yeah.
question.
Right on it, Adam Potter, and get on the video. We
Yeah,
appreciate
no,
that.
that's rad, man. That's rad. So listen, Adam, honestly, when Paul first got the gig to Slayer, we were about to sign to RCA Records. We were like literally a half a step away from signing to RCA. We had a really big record deal on the table. And then, but also there was a lot of friction within the band at the time. I think we were all frustrated kind of in our downtime, and Paul and I were butting heads a bit. We were writing music, and I think he was also not to say too much, but he's really getting into religion at the time, ironically. And then the Slayer thing came up, and we were all shocked. We're like, well, wait a minute, like I thought you were going this direction, So, but I think at first we were all shocked. The happiness for him came immediately after that. Maybe like a couple weeks later for me, I was like, okay, we have a guy that's in fucking Slayer now. This is fucking great. And I was the first guy to ever play Paul Slayer, by the way, and he'll tell you that story. But yeah, so it's ironic. But as far as what we're super. By the way, we're great friends. Anytime I talk to Paul, it's like picking up where we leave off. There's no animosity at all. But at the time, you can imagine, oh, by the way, your record deal is going to go away, because also you've got to remember Nirvana happened like that same fucking month. It was like it all happened at one time, and the whole industry changed. So there's your answer on that end. And the answer on the other end is I think Paul's got something going on already, because I'd already talked. Actually, I know Paul's got something going on already. I already talked to Paul about doing Forbidden shows possibly last year. And he was saying, well, if I don't have this going on, maybe I could do that. But I think I'm going to have this. And this is going on for him right now. And he can't announce anything till, I think they're being held up too. His new project's being held up too. So, but one day, maybe we'll get up on stage and do some Forbidden songs. But if I do Forbidden anything ever again, I really want, it's got to be Russ and Matt. And I would love to have Paul to some capacity play a couple things here and there. He doesn't attach to everything though, he's only attached to the first two records.
That's true. Now let me ask you something, speaking on the Forbidden then. What was the catalyst for you guys to get back together and decide to put out write and record Omega Wave?
Well, it wasn't just one thing. I mean, honestly, Spiral Arms, who we should talk about. Spiral Arms got asked to do not Dynamo, Grass Pop in 2007, and I had just went and saw the movie Get Thrashed at the premiere, maybe a few months beforehand, but I was already kind of like, oh wow, nostalgia, wow, whoa, and then or maybe I went and saw it after, but I can't remember exactly how that time frame went. But either way, the two things kind of coupled, because as soon as we landed in. I was all Spiral Arms, like all 100%. Everyone to ad nauseam, they'd be like, "Oh, dude," I'd be like, "This is a fucking great band," because we were a great band. I'm like, "You should fucking listen," But it was different. It was rock, and it was different. So when I got to Belgium, it was like apparent from the moment we landed. Almost everyone was getting in my ear about coming back next year and playing with Forbidden. I'm like, "Well, we're not even a band. Like, what are you talking about?" Like, So. And I remember the morning I had breakfast at the actual festival the next day, Jaap came and sat down with me. Jaap runs Nuclear Blast in Europe as far as the artists. And that's the first time I met him. And he's just sat, I'm trying to eat my breakfast, and he's like in my ear telling me all this stuff. And I'm like, oh shit, like, am I getting grifted? Like, what's going on? I'm here to do Spiral Arms, man. And yeah, but I mean, that's, then you realize, okay, well, there's a possibility. Then something happened, and we started getting a bunch of offers when we came home. I reached out to Paul. He was the first guy I reached out to. I said, Paul, would you be interested? And he's like, yeah, like maybe we could just do shows and that's it. And I put the parameters on, that's it. Just some shows for Europe and do some warm-up gigs. And so that was how it started. And fast forward, Paul couldn't do it. We originally wanted to have Paul and Tim and get the Twisted Into Form lineup. Tim couldn't do it. He's a pilot, rest in peace, Tim. That he passed away in the last couple of years here. But it just turned into a different thing. And then we had Gene Hoglan play our first shows with Death Angel.
Yeah, 2008, 2 nights at Slim's. I remember that.
Yeah, because Steve Jacobs wasn't in a situation where he could do it. He's living in Ohio, and it was just the level of difficulty became so crazy. I'm like, well, this is just turning out much different. We got Glenn. It was just way different than I originally thought, and it became like a lot of like. But once we got Mark involved to do the European tour and stuff like that, we agreed upon those dates in Europe. At least there was some stability with Mark in there at that point, and I felt like, okay, we could do these shows. And my whole idea was to just do shows, Ted. It was just to do the shows and get out. And you go so many dates on those tours. You play in front of 60,000 people at Grass Pop, because we had a prime spot on stage, and you're like, oh fuck. Well, I thought to myself, well, maybe I'll come home and write a riff or two and see what happens. And that was kind of what started it. I made the mistake of saying that in an interview, and it alarmed the other guys, and Inspired Alarms. They thought I was going to leave. I'm like, no, I'm not going anywhere, man. But it's kind of caused me to take a step back and go, you know what? Maybe I should really at least examine if I can write this kind of material anymore, because I know I can. I know I can. So I started writing some riffs, and that's kind of how it all began. And we did a demo. And with Tim Narducci from Spiral Arms producing it, and it turned out really good. And then Nuclear Blast was all over that shit. We went back the next year and played and kicked ass at the Rock Hard Festival. Had a fucking great show, much better than we were the year before, because I think Russ was more getting acclimated the year before, and then the next year he was like strong, and it was good. Then we signed the deal, and I finished writing Omega Wave with Marky and the boys, and we got Steve Smythe in the band too, which was another big help, because he's very measured and well spoken, and has great ideas, and he contributes, and he was a great team player, man. So that's how the band kind of got back together. It was a little bit begrudging. I didn't really want to do it at first, and then it was like, well, what am I, a fucking idiot? Like, at least give it a shot. And
of course, you got to give it a shot, man. I mean, the opportunity's there. You were kind of curious. Let me see where this takes us, type deal.
Well, what it took us to is a great fucking record. Okay.
Yeah.
Like Omega Wave is a great record, but the daunting reality is that the sum of the parts and the guys in the band, it was hard. I had 2 guys that were new and 2 guys that were old, and really the work model I use is Death Angel. Okay. We're talking, and I'm not just saying that, but the work model I use is Death Angel. If you don't work like those guys do, because it took you guys a while to build yourselves back into where you're at, and same with Testament. It doesn't happen overnight. So if you don't put the work in, you're not really going to get much out of it. And I use that model for the guys in Forbidden, and they really didn't have the time or the patience. I'm talking about the original members at the time, like Matt had to go back to work. Russ had already got fired from a job. You can't blame anybody for, taking stock of their life and going, I just can't do this music dream because I can't afford to, and the timing's not good. So that's when I just pulled the plug, and I didn't say we ended or quit or anything. I just basically put it out there. Like, if we aren't going to put the time in, I'm not going to put the time in, because I end up doing most everything,
Yeah.
In Forbidden, I end up doing a lot of heavy lifting. And if it was, worth it financially, if I could pull it off and I could survive off it, then I would. But if you don't get everyone working hard, so no blame, no anger, no resentment, nothing. In fact, I thought we pulled out right at the right time. Omega Wave is super strong, and that's where that ended. And the future is like, it's Dressed and Dead and what I've got going here. And I even got back together with the Spiral Arms guys, and did some stuff just recently, which was just hugely cathartic and beautiful. And we could talk about that a little bit if you want to.
Yeah, that's right. You have the Spiral Arms dude, and you had Chris Contos on drums. What's up, Chris? He posted on Facebook, hello, during the stream.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, like you did what did you do? A Zeppelin, a Stone song, and some others, right?
And Wings.
Wings.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, well, there's a reason why we did it, and that's what's really important. And it was the best reason in the world. One of our guitar players was Tim Narducci's brother, Greg. And Greg unexpectedly passed away at the age of 39 of a heart attack, completely out of nowhere.
Wow.
Maybe he might have been even younger. I think he was 39 though. I think he might have been younger. Totally like sweet guy, great player, but he's a big boy. Greg was he was a big hunting man, and he has a son and a wife, and just he was adored by everybody. And I loved Greg. I loved playing music with him. He played on both of our records. It was Steamhammer, by the way, that put out Freedom. Steamhammer is the one that put out Freedom.
Oh, Steamhammer, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
But he played on both of those records that we did, Highest Society and Freedom. And it was a real shock. And as soon as I heard about it, like the very minute I heard about it, I reached out to Tim Narducci, and I said, dude, I'm so sorry, because he lost his dad almost a year to the day of that. And that's like, you're older and you're younger, it's just too much. And we talked, we cried, it was very, very sad. But I said, we should probably do something for Greg, maybe do a cover song in his honor. And at the same time, Chris Contos reached out to him and said something similar, we should do a Zeppelin song or something. And so there it is. And I think Tim needed that. We all needed it because it didn't end very great. When Chris left, it wasn't the greatest ending. And then we continued going on with tension in the band the whole fucking time, and it finally came to this moment where we're older, we're wiser. Let's just do this beautiful thing for the right reasons. And we'll it's cathartic for us. B, we play fucking great together. That lineup with Chris Contos in the band had some magical moments, as did every drummer, but Chris was very bombastic, as Chris is. So we did In the Light, right, by Led Zeppelin. And because that was Greg's favorite song. It was his favorite Led Zeppelin song. And if Led Zeppelin's his favorite band. And the undertaking of that was huge. It was monumental, man. It was a lot of emotion. Like, I remember Tim singing it in the booth, and you just hearing him well up as he's singing the song. You could hear it in his performance. So all those things were very real, Ted. And it brought us closer together. The resentment's gone. The friendships are back, and we're just playing cover songs for now of lofty cover songs that are very difficult to execute, and you have to be in the right headspace and you have to get deep. So we decided we'll do a couple, basically we're doing a few covers, and that's where it's at right now. We also hit Wings, Maybe I'm Amazed, which was my choice, which is another super hard song to execute, very deep. Major piano songs, piano and organ. Brad Barth, just incredible, And also we did, Moonlight Mile by the Rolling Stones, which was Chris Contos' choice. And I gotta say, dude, I when you get into that, I know that you heard that one. When you get into that, you don't really know, because if you listen to the original, it's it doesn't sound very it's ethereal. I've used that word a couple times, but it is what's going on there? I can't tell what's happening. So you really got to dig in, because you find out that Mick Jagger played guitar on it when he came in late night one night, And
wow,
so it's all fucked up. It's all fucked off, dude. So we did it, and we made it kind of more cohesive in a song, and I added some melodies in the middle and stuff, and it's beautiful, man. All of the songs are beautiful, and I feel I couldn't be happier to at least share music with those guys again without any kind of baggage or drama. And it's because you know how it is, dude. Being in any band, there's always there's that point where the things just start landing on your shoulder and you can't let it go.
Oh, totally. I know that. We know that feeling really well.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
I understand, you know, so I own my part of it.
Yeah.
So it was very, very cool. I'm very happy that we did that.
You know what? It's an unfortunate circumstances had to, you know, brought you guys together. It kind of sucks. It happens a lot this day and age, you know, like, you know, for instance, like funerals bring a lot of people back together, you know, just to
Yeah.
like squash everything. It sucks that it has to happen that way, but things happen for a reason, I guess, you know. This world's a
Yeah,
trip.
no, you're right, and that's the way I kind of took it. And that's the way, you know, I mean, it's hardest on Tim still. You know, he like,
Yeah.
it's his brother, and he's younger. You know, he's 10 years younger. You know, and that shouldn't happen. It's in a heart attack. It's not like a car accident or something. It's like just one of these things. So yeah, but he was sweet, man. Greg, and Greg's kid's amazing. I went to the funeral, or it wasn't an actual funeral. It was more like a life celebration. And the kid was jumping he was beaming. His dad was a football coach too. He was an everything coach. He was a life coach, football coach. He repoed cars for a living, bro. He repoed cars. He repoed cars, and people liked him so much they'd give him a tip for taking the car. Like, oh, sorry, man, here you go. Like, he was so likable and lovable.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
everyone hates the repo man.
Exactly. You got to be cool. He's had many guns pulled on him, though. Let me tell you.
Wow.
But I guess the real moral of the story is clear your path. You know, clear the baggage that you have. Like, you know, not everyone's equipped to do that yet at their lives. Like, there comes a point where you're more willing internally to get there, and up until then, you really don't see it. You're like, I can't possibly get along with that guy again. And then all of a sudden something happens. Like, what if I die tomorrow? You know, what if you die tomorrow? So you got to kind of look at life like that. I look at my friends, and, you know, I hope to one day that I can make up with all of them and everything's clear. You know what? I'll honestly tell you, dude, like, this last year, and we can talk about this for a minute, but this last year with COVID and the election has put so many friends in precarious, you know, positions of opposition.
Of course.
Like, they think that, you know, everyone's kind of polarized, and it really caused a lot of division within my close friends, and that breaks my heart because you know, presidents and politics come and go.
Yeah, that's true.
They move the fuck on. They're in your life, they're out your life.
Yeah.
But you, as a friend, you got to be bros through the thick and the thin. But I get to see the lines of division that, you know, I hope one day will break. But it kind of feels like this country is ready for, like, I mean, it feels ripe for a revolution, and that's not necessarily a good thing.
It's not, but you know what it needs when it opens up. It needs everyone to go out there and spread their music and get this unity thing going. You know, we got to do our part in music to do that.
Yes, that's our part as artists. That is our part, and to, you know, bring people together for shows and share the music and all that stuff. I mean, you know, and this is another reason I respect Death Angel, because you guys have always taken the high road with politics. Like, you don't really talk about it publicly, where I've been the exact opposite. Some people don't remember this about me, but I wrote about shit and talked about it openly from fucking Forbidden Evil all the way to the end. You know, like, I still do what I've always done. It hasn't really changed. But like I said, the presidents change. These people, these leaders, they come in, they go, they're here, they're gone. Their policies affect us in different ways. But for me, like, watching this last year, just watching the mentalities of people, like, just how closed-minded everybody got. And I don't like to see xenophobia and things like this. Like, I can't get behind that. You know, that's the stuff that bothers me, dude. Like that, you know, like paranoia and xenophobia. And I'm a conspiracy guy. I believe in aliens, but I don't believe in certain fucking things. And I know for one thing, this election was not a conspiracy of millions of people against Donald Trump. Well, 78 million voted against him. Let's just put it that way. So that's a conspiracy.
It is what it is, you know. I mean, we don't get into politics, you know, with my guys. It's just like everyone has their own trip. I mean, with me, I'm just speaking for myself. I have a few, you know, probably about 5 people I could talk to where we could have an adult conversation about it. We could agree to disagree. Then we move on. That's it.
Right.
You know, that's all. Then we talk about something we agree on, and life's good. So
Yeah,
that's how
that's the way
how
I
I
am
see it.
with 98%, you know, but then
Yeah.
there's always those few that are like, no, dude, no, bro, you don't understand, you know, like, I don't know, you know, I mean, where does it end? I just hope it ends on a happier note with that. And, you know, I don't want to spend too much time, but it is part of the whole, you know, the burrito of this last year, dude. You know, you can't get away from this part of the conversation when you talk about what's this last year been. This last year has been, you know, a bummer because we all can't go everywhere we want to go. We can't play where we want to play. We can't do what we want to do. And people are fucking at each other's throats, blaming each other for shit that they can't really control. You know?
Yeah.
The
Crazy
control
times.
happened when you went to the voters booth, right? And you did your little control thing. And you hopefully all those little things you voted on, and then that one big thing. If you got what you got and you like it, cool. If you didn't get what you get and you don't like it, cool. Don't fucking cry about it after you've been telling people they've been crying about it for 4 years themselves. See what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying.
That's all I'm saying, dude.
But on a happier note here,
let's move back.
I got a couple questions before I close it out. Because, you know, do you miss Forbidden? Do you miss it? Deep down inside, do you miss it? And if there was a chance to do it again, would you do it?
I miss certain things about it. I do miss certain things about it. I certainly miss connecting with people on that level. You know, because the music in Forbidden, you know, this is what I noticed back, 12 years ago when I started. It made an impact that I wasn't aware of. You know, lyrically, musically, you know, there's things that we said that resonate with people on levels that I wasn't, you know, I was hoping back when I wrote it maybe, but then later on they got it, you know. So that down that level, you know, I do miss that connection, but on the level of business and how hard it was and how much work I had to do to make it happen, not as much as people would think. No. It's like, I mean, I'm honestly very happy with Dress to Dead. Because everyone is like kind of moving forward with the same vision. And you know, there's never say never. I mean, I would do shows with Forbidden, but I just wouldn't expect much out of everybody because everyone has different, you know, rates of speed of life, and I respect that. I don't blame anyone for that. Like I said earlier, it's just the way it is.
Yeah. But now with Dress to Dead, everyone's on the same page as far as, you know, musically and working on the business side of it to make it happen.
Yeah, it took a little while to get there, but we're there. And I think that's another reason I'm thankful for this year, because it slowed things down where we didn't have to feel like we had to go out and play everywhere every night and do everything. Like, it made it so we concentrated on writing music, which will really reflect on this next fucking record after these songs are released. You're gonna shit fucking gigantic brick sideways when you hear how much growth this band has had. And then, you know, having Mikey in the band has been great because he's fucking a great guitar player too. So
cool.
There's been a nice little shift in our dynamic.
Awesome. Now, one more thing before I close out. I'm going to fanboy out. I've been fortunate enough to see this tour, Death Angel and Forbidden on the Act 3 tour. I saw that at the Warfield. You did Europe and the States with them, man. I mean, I know it's a different time, but how was that tour? I've heard little stories, but you know, I'll hear it from Forbidden.
I cannot verify or deny anything you.
No, I just heard at that time Death Angel was huge, great album they were touring for, and it was cool that they took you guys out. And I know you guys were playing cool places, especially
we were. You know, we got, you know, it was doing. Both bands were doing fucking great. We were both ruling Headbangers Ball at that time. You know, I mean, Step by Step got played like 40 times on Headbangers Ball. That's like, you know, like in that year, you know, that's like once a week for 40 fucking weeks. So both bands were booming. We sold a lot of records at that time. They sold a lot of records. It was a great opportunity. We were already great friends. You know, I've been friends with those guys, dude. Since Ruthie's, but they moved in with us in a studio we had in Hayward to finish writing Frolic Through the Park in '87. And that's when we became very close. And, you know, my love for all of your bandmates, you know, all of them, including, you know, the three of you new guys, you know, I mean, I love all you guys. But you know, I was tight with I was really tight with Dennis on that tour. I was tight with Dennis beforehand, and I got to know everybody else even better. And then, of course, Annie and I played together for years in Spiral Arms, and
That's
I got
right.
to know him even better. And he's at a really great place in his life. But going back to then, the Warfield was my 21st birthday. That was my
Yeah, I
actual
remember.
21st birthday. And that was like, I still haven't played the Warfield since. You know, that was my one time playing the Warfield. And that was fucking 30 years ago. You know, it's like, what the fuck?
That was
But,
an awesome show, dude. That was an awesome show. Both bands kicked ass that night.
It was. There was some shows, like we played the Hammersmith Odeon. And
With Vicious Rumors opening, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, VR, they opened the tour, but they played over us in Germany because they were bigger in Germany at the time. And that was that was Carl singing.
Yeah,
Carl Albert, who was just incredible. I watched him on the side of the stage the year after. No, it was that year on the side of stage of Dynamo, because we played the day before. Forbidden headlined a show over Sepultura and Sacred Reich at some 1,800 capacity venue for the night before Dynamo. We didn't play Dynamo the next year. You guys played, right? You guys, or not Death Angel, but yeah, Death Angel played. Yeah. And then VR played earlier, and I watched Carl Albert rule the stage that day. Like, I think it was his best show of his life. You know, I remember him walking over to me and looking at me and singing like right in my face, and I'm just like, dude, this is your moment. Like, I was just like, wow, So that was great. VR was great, and Death Angel was incredible that day. Sepultura fucking ripped people's heads off for the first time they played a festival in Europe. So I've seen some shit. And that Death Angel tour was, sits in my memory bank as one of the fucking finest tours I've ever, probably the funnest tour I've ever done still. And I did some hell fun ones after that, dude. But, come on, you got those bros out there, like,
of course,
VR guys, it's like, that was a blast. And I was only 20 for the European end of it. And, it was insane, dude. It was insane.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I saw that at the Warfield, and it was insane. I remember when you guys opened up the curtain. You had a curtain. It opened up a little bit, then it opened fully, and you guys just came out and destroyed. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I don't think I banged my head pretty hard, but I don't think I banged my head any harder than I did that night.
Yeah, I think
I'm 21 and playing the Warfield.
That's what you do when you're young, bro.
Well, I still bang my head, man. But that was a night, dude. That was a night.
Yeah.
So yeah, my love for Death Angel, to close it all out, and you guys, and my respect. You guys, Death Angel's helped Dress the Dead more than any other band so far. You guys have had our backs. That shows you the brotherhood that we already have, and it's nice that we can back it up as a band with a product that makes it worthy of being backed up. So I feel that way. I feel like we aren't letting you down. You guys have helped us, and we're not going to let you down by fucking coming out and sucking asses.
Yeah. Speaking of, I just played Knives Out today on our show, and whew, man, I'm telling you, man, I wish you nothing but success with that band. You guys are going to be, when things open up, which I know they will. We know they will. You guys will be at the Dynamo. You guys will be at the Dynamo. We'll be in Europe around the same time. So who knows what might happen? Who knows if we'll connect and play a show, which I hope we do.
I think we're going to end up playing music together. I think we're going to end up touring together.
I think so too.
Nostril damage predicts.
There you go. And with Death Angel, like we let you play the Christmas shows. We had you on, and pre-Humanicide, before it got released, you guys played with us at the DNA.
The DNA Lounge. You guys were incredible that night.
Thanks, man.
Incredible.
Yeah, well, last night of the tour, we had all those shows. We were well oiled, so that helps.
I got to tell you, that particular night was the first time Kayla ever saw you.
Okay.
And she was just like in awe. That she's sitting back there. She couldn't believe the moves that Rob was pulling off. She's all, what an incredible bunch of. I'm like, yep, he's been that way since like really 1990s when he pulled all that together, and he's just only gotten better at that. I'm like, totally. The dude's like a walking, living rock god, who's very, very humble and super nice.
There, yeah. And when it's a trip. I've been fortunate enough to be able to write, jam with him since the band reformed, and every time he comes up with some crazy shit, I'm like, Where'd you pull that out of, dude?
Well, that's our
You know,
job as
like-
writers, right? We got to pull it out of somewhere. You got to pull it out of thin air.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Robin's fucking, yeah, you guys together are amazing. And yeah, nothing but love and success for Death Angel. And you guys will be out there rocking it again too.
Thanks. Craig, thank you for taking the time to be on the show. And I want to thank you for letting me air Knives Out by Dress to Dead on this one. And
Remember, everybody, it'll be out on January 5th on all digital platforms. So go and download it, please. Take your 99 cents out of your pocket and please download that. That's how Dress to Dead's going to survive.
Yeah, spread the word. Let everyone know, all you viewers, spread the word. DressToDead.com, Instagram, Dress to Dead, Facebook, Dress to Dead. And
Yep.
Craig, dude, right on, dude. I appreciate you taking the time on Saturday to jump on with me here during these times.
But it's my honor, dude. I couldn't be any happier with how this turned out and talking to you. And I love you guys, man.
Right on. But you guys, wait a minute. Before I close, you guys have a series coming out, right? Aren't you doing like?
Oh yeah,
some
oh
videos?
fuck, I do.
Hello?
See, I'm not used to it yet. Yeah, we do. They've been hammering me about doing a show for like similar to this, just gonna hit on different kind of subjects. But we do a thing called Addressing the Living.
Okay.
Addressing the Living, because we'll
All
dress
right.
the dead, addressing the living. So
All
that's going to be my first show is with Mr. Gene Hoglan.
Oh, I love Gene.
Yeah, him and I are like, we're such good friends, and he's like my brother. So we spent 3 hours talking and never dropped a fucking. I mean, it just went because there's so much history from meeting him. Those first years with Dark Angel to me playing in Death to the shows that we did together. Just all the. There's so much in that interview that's great. There are going to be stories that nobody's ever heard before. There's stories he told me that I've never heard before about me that I didn't even know.
Yeah.
So there you go.
When is this going to be? When is this launching?
I don't have a date.
Okay.
I don't have a date. We might put it out the same week as we put out everything else. We might put it out before Christmas. We're trying to figure it out. But just keep your eyes open. It's done. It's finished. It's great. I've watched parts of it, and I got to say that was really cool.
Cool.
Thanks for remembering. I would have forgot, dude.
My memory was working right now. But everyone,
Thank
thanks for watching Alive and Streaming with my friend Crag Locciero. I want to say thanks to Tim Healy for sending me some music. Check out Knives Out. Was it January 5th? It's on all platforms, videos and everything. Go follow my friends. Show the support. That's how we're going to survive. Stick around, Craig. Hold on 1 minute. We're out.